Welcome to another episode of the Ticklish. Hey, don't do that. The Ticklish Travel. Welcome to another episode of the Ticklish Traveler and his travel tales. Don't do that. Karimedra Yasis. This is some greetings in Greek language. Yes, I'm going to speak about the Greeks again because, as they say in Serbia, why not? They're good people. So I was at the Greek church many years ago, and I was sitting with a whole table of Ginopolises. These are old world people from Peloponnesus Mountains in Greece. So I went to get coffee for my friend Paul Giannopoulos, an old lady. She was waving with her big hand and to sit down with her. She was very nicely dressed, an old woman with a very thick accent. Yeah, I'm sitting with Paul. I like all of them. Good boy, good boy. She kept hitting me on the leg. Good boy, she kept saying. I need a help. Okay, yes, ma'am. She ripped some napkin, crumpled up, and scribbled her address, and I looked at it. I said, excuse me, ma'am, but I can't read this. I got to be honest with you. Just tell me where you live, and I'll ride my bicycle over there, and I'll help you cut those trees. Okay, you're a good boy, and you're very honest, and most people wouldn't say that. And she gave me her address. The next morning, I rode my bicycle all the way across town and went to a new area. It was kind of neat. So hello. Oh, good boy again. What's a good boy? You're on time. She's greeting me with a big bushel of grapes. It's just like a Vuksanovic and Barisic and all these old Serbian guys. Before you even walk in, you're eating food, and sit down and bacon and eggs. Oh man, and cold milk and a Greek kava. And it was very, very good and filling. And here come the pancakes. A lot of butter on them. A little cup of yogurt and jam. And half an hour, and we were, I was looking at her. She was all nicely up, and her hair was niced up and everything. And it was whole world people, they take pride in the way they look. So, man, her home was very clean and neat. And so was this old lady who was originally from Peloponnesus, Greek mountains. So after 45 minutes of gobbling down all this food, man, I was starting to get stuffed. And all of a sudden, she says, it's ready. Hey, Jack, hey, I'm saying, I'm tired. I can't eat no more. This is so fun. And I lay down. I threw my shoes off, lay down on the sofa, a little noise, some little rest, and she went and did some things in the other room, and I was so tired, I had to rest, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and I snuck outside, and there was a saw and ladder, so I climbed this tree that I was supposed to cut, and I took the saw up there with me, and I thought I'd get rolling on this tree before she started feeding me all the lamb and everything. And I was like, man. So I cut a couple of big limbs off this tree, and she comes out with her apron on. Oh, she says, a good boy, you start on the tree, only it's a wrong tree. Oh, it's okay. This one needs cut also. Never mind, it's all right. So I cut a few more limbs for her, and I got to the tree that I had to cut, and I remember she was throwing a rope over there, and this old lady, very old lady, was throwing this rope up to me, and I was looking around this neighborhood I'd never been, and this old lady I'd never met. It was a fun. It was a lot of fun meeting a new old Greek woman, because I like the Greeks, especially from the mountain area. And if you ever get a chance, anybody gets a chance to meet some Greeks from Peloponnesus, I would highly recommend it, as they're good, honest people. But some advice, if you're going to go work for an old Greek, make sure you do your work before you go inside the house. Okay, everybody. This is Dravo, everybody. Well, I'm going to talk about Serbian Church. They had a big rummage sale there in Fresno, California in the summer. And it's a very long bicycle ride for me to get to Serbian Church to help the old ladies at the rummage sale. So during the week, Monday, Tuesday, and everything, there was just old ladies there sorting, putting on tables, unpacking. So they wanted somebody there in case some chair or something heavy came, and then I could unload it, which I did. And I like helping. And these old ladies there and me, we were the only ones. I'm going to just guess and say there was 8 of us. Well, the old Serbian ladies were trying to outdo one another with the lunches. And man, that was to my liking. Boy, oh boy, all those tortas and priganitas and all the Serbian pastries included. Well, one of the ladies there was Bukalica, this very tall lady, and I liked her a lot, Anita Bukalica. And she grabbed my arm one day, and she said, "Hey, kid, you like that sweater? It's on the dollar table." And I looked at it, and I go, "Nah, I'd rather have that boomerang." So she bought me the boomerang instead of the sweater. It kind of looked scratchy and itchy. So I took that solid wood boomerang to Woodward Park the very next day after I was helping the old ladies, and I was throwing it 10 feet away, 7 feet away. Boy, I got it right in the middle of the face. Some old guy was jogging by, he had a little tight pants and a tight shirt, and he come over to see if I was okay. I leaned over, and I was just gushing blood. It's like I just got in a fight with Charles Bronson or something. And he kind of, his knees buckled. He fell down. He starts throwing up. So I lean over to the guy. "Hey, man, you all right?" And I'm dripping blood on him. He goes, "No, please." He started shaking. So I went to the water faucet. I left the guy alone, man. He was real scared. So I kind of just rinsed off the blood. Took the shirt I had wrapped around my handlebars and kind of washed up a little bit. And I was thinking, man, maybe I should have taken that sweater. So back to the rummage sale. These old ladies, they were looking through everybody's junk and laughing at everybody. "Oh, they have this for, and what do they have that for?" Well, one day, Yelena Vukovic comes in her brand new Cadillac, and she's honking the horn and waving to me, and she's pointing to the passenger seat, and it was a big, giant, triple-layer, double fudge chocolate cake. Well, I grabbed that cake, and instead of going back into the church hall where everybody was, I walked the other way towards the swing set. And I was putting my finger in it, and like Beaver Cleaver or somebody, and she's honking the horn and waving. And I said, "I'm just joking, I said, I just took a little bite." She said, "Hey, I don't care." She didn't care if I ate the whole cake. She says, "You got to go in there and get some milk first." So I had a good time with these old ladies. And one day, instead of getting there early in the morning like they did to help them unload, I was a little bit late. And I had rode through some sprinklers because it was summer and it was hot. And a couple ladies with their finger up in the air like they used to. You're late. We were waiting for you. And I'm grabbing some pastries and sipping the coffee. And I says, you know, if you keep yelling at me like that, Mrs. Bronkovich, I ain't going to tell you about the nice fella I just met who's looking for a tennis partner. Oh, really? And she starts pushing her hair down and getting her blouse all straight. I says, he's a real good-looking fella, and he's in real good shape, and he can almost see. Oh, and she hits me. Well, I had a good time with them, and that was at the Serbian church there in Fresno. So if you ever get a chance to go help out some old-timers, especially Serbs and Greeks and Armenians, they're always going to feed you, and they're just a lot of fun. And I hope everybody enjoyed this. Okay. Follow. Hello, everybody. A beautiful angel. On the airplane, I was coming out of the toilet, and the door hit the other toilet door. We met halfway, looked at each other, and it was a beautiful angel standing in front of me. It was Roberta Krejevich. She was, I guess, in her late 20s, as I was. I was headed into Crna Gora, which is Montenegro. My dad, Rojak's relatives lived over there, somewhere up in the mountains. And I went to visit them first time. So this beautiful girl, this angel I call her, 84 geese flying above. This is great. So this beautiful oh, cool, man. This angel and me were talking. So we arrived in a small airport there somewhere, and there was a bunch of big guys smoking cigarettes, and they had knives and guns all over them like the old West. And the cousin of mine, that's not him. Oh, there. No, that's not him. I asked a couple guys, Pero, Rojak, Radko. No. Man, it was a very uneasy feeling with these big Montenegrins, and I was a stranger there. Well, the place cleared out after half an hour, and some taxi drivers started to surround, telling me 200 euro, and they take me. Well, I have no 200 euro. I think it was dollars then. Yeah, it was. No, I sat down and just couldn't believe them guys didn't come to pick me up. I didn't know what to do. It was dark and cold. And at that time, my Serbian was very weak. And these guys were getting closer and closer. These big thugs with knives and guns and big fists. They were surrounding the table. I went to the toilet. I came back, and I was standing there surrounded by these guys, and this beautiful angel came in, and she said, "What are you doing? Why are you still here? These guys are going to criminal you. They're going to take everything from you and throw you off the mountain." She said, "Come on." Oh, she couldn't believe it. So she got in this very small car, like something Peter Seller would have in that Pink Panther, and her big dad and her big mom and her and me got in this little car where our knees were up to our chins, and I told her that my cousins didn't come to greet me. She says, I can't believe it. So they drove and drove and drove. We drove, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half to get to where they were living. Now what? I said, Pero Ratko Mijevich. No, guys were shaking their head. No. One guy, yeah, znam Pero. Yeah, I know Pero. Okay. He called on some broken phone, and the phone went out. And by this time, the cops were there, and it was like a circus for everybody laughing. This guy comes from America, and look at him. He's a lost. So they got a hold of Pedro, and who came? Boro and Vedrana. It was Pedro's wife and father, Boro, my uncle. They came and they kissed me and greeted me, and they gave me cigarettes, and hugging and crying and kissing. And we got in the car, the old rattly old car, and I greeted this Roberta Prejevich and thanked her and gave her a hug and kissed her cheek and told her very much, thank you. I don't know if I would have survived that knife drop from the mountain. So we arrived at the house. Problem was, Ratko was on a ship, and he was somewhere in Indonesia, and Pero was in Zator. Everybody was Zator. Zator, I don't know this word Zator. This is where my cousin was, visiting Mr. Zator. For those of you who know Serbian language, this is going to be funny. Because Zator means a jail. He was making some fake passports or something and was in a jailhouse. I went to visit him, my cousin, and he's in some uniform in a jailhouse. Incredible. So for maybe, I don't know, everybody wants to know how long you were there and where you go and how many and all that. I don't know. But for a very long time, it was me and Sonia and Vedrana, the wives of my cousins. And they both spoke English, and Sonia was very kind, and Vedrana was very kind to me. And it was something to go around with my uncle, Boro's dad, Pero, the old Pero, who was 99 years, 8 months, 6 days, and 4 seconds old when I went there. To watch this old man who was about the size of, I don't know, maybe 9-year-old circus boy or something. It was just incredible how fast he went up the mountain. Very good shape for an old man. And I remember sitting on the rocks with him up there in the mountains and listening to him. I wish I would have had a recorder. I think I did. In fact, I did have a recorder, but it didn't work so good. Man, I wish the people who are listening to this would record their old relatives and have something to remember them by besides a picture of them staring at the camera, which is so boring. Especially when they get old like that. Who wants to look at a 118-year-old person? Come on. So here I am in the mountains in Sonagora, which means the Black Mountains, sitting on some rocks, talking to this 100-year-old man. And the two little kids were with us, kicking in all the doors and breaking everything in sight. It was some fun there in the Montenegro. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.
You woke me up again. I don't like that. You quit waking me up. You grandson. You grandson.
The following is a CBC Sports presentation.
Welcome to the ZBC Sports Report. I'm Bruce Donnelly. Last night, In NHL action, the Chicago Blackhawks shut out the Pittsburgh Penguins by a score of 1-0. Chicago defenseman Dave Lumley made the game-saving block on goal to help defeat Pittsburgh. After the game, Dave spoke with us about the save and why he is the only player in the NHL that will not wear a helmet.
Long story, but I just don't like helmets because I got brain damage anyway, and I got a new cut, 7 stitches from a hockey puck. I got high sticked, and anyway, let me tell the story about my my tooth loss. See, I was diving, the goalie had got out of the box, and that slap shot jumped out. I whizzed around on the ice, and I reached out and grabbed with my teeth, and boom! I sure did, and I swallowed 2 teeth in the making.
This has been the ZBC Sports Report.